Even if our earliest sources in this section have not yet spelled out the Petrine office in a fully explicit way, they do something just as important. They demonstrate that the Apostolic Church immediately understood unity and authority to require concrete, identifiable offices and a visible mechanism of communion. That means the question is not whether Christ established a continuing office-based unity principle, but where that principle is anchored and how it functions at the universal level. Once the New Testament and the earliest post-apostolic church have ruled out a purely invisible or voluntary unity, the Petrine question becomes unavoidable rather than optional. Conclusion. Therefore, the most historically, scripturally, and logically coherent conclusion is this. The church that immediately succeeded the apostles, which is visible, sacramental, office-based, unified, and authoritative, is not a corruption of Christianity, but the intended continuation of the church Christ founded and promised to preserve. And anyone claiming a great apostasy must now shoulder the burden of explaining precisely when, how, and by what authority the true church vanished, without turning Christ's promises in Matthew 16 and Matthew 28 into words that failed in the first generation after the apostles. Or, to put it in a more concise format, premise 1, Christ promised a church that would function as a visible court of appeal, a light to the nations, and a pillar of truth that could never be overmastered by the powers of death.